Grow 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by Huntworth and these other fine sponsors.
We're going to talk about something a little bit different today, but we're going to talk about our turkeys, and specifically how we can manage the habitat for our turkeys. Luckily, we've got Robbie Pruitt with us today, the expert on Antler King products there is in this world. He's going to talk about food here in a little bit, but first I'm going to start us off by talking about some basic things we can do. First off, right off the bat, New Hampshire Department of Natural Resources came out with a study that says that ideally at least 10% of your habitat is open. So if you're looking at wooded areas, what you want to do is you want to clear out areas for food plots. You want at least 10% of your ground in open areas. That's going to help immensely. Remember, your turkeys, they're going ahead, your adults, they're eating a diet of about 90% plant matter, 10% insects. Okay, your poults on the flip side, it's the reverse. They're eating almost all insects. But in order to get that good balance, frankly, you need diversity in your habitat. Next, think about nesting. There isn't much difference between fawn rearing and turkeys raising their poults in that when they're young, they are at very, very high odds. Your coyotes, your possum, your skunks, your raccoon, everything out there's trying to get those turkey eggs. If you have a park effect woods where there's virtually no understory, much, much easier hunting than when you have a higher stem count. The thicker that property is in general, the better your survival rates are going to be on whitetails and on turkeys from large predators. Okay, hinge cutting can go ahead and do wonders for something like that. And then when it comes to greens, I'm kicking it to my buddy Robbie. Tell us what we need to plant to actually not only help the deer, but get max
Max out the turkeys. My first one, my go-to is always clover varieties. I love the clovers. I even get into some chicories with it, clovers, chicories, alfalfas. Truthfully, some of my favorite things in the world is a spring after I planted fall, winter, spring. They have that cereal rye, that cereal grains. Man, they just love that cereal grain.
Well, and the beautiful part about that is cereal rye does not, it merely goes dormant when it's frozen. Okay, so as soon as that ground thaws, bingo, you got growth again. And I know we're talking turkeys, but we all worry so dang much about overwinter stress on whitetails and turkeys, but guess what? It's those late springs that tend to be the killers, and that fall, winter, spring / cereal rye is going to be the first dang thing to green up every darn year, often weeks before anything else.
Many weeks before in a lot of places,
So you're planting the cereal rye, they're eating the greens to start with, and then they're hammering that rye, aren't they?
They're hammering that rye like crazy, yes.
You go ahead and mix that then with a nice healthy timber stand with all sorts of undergrowth, especially those hinge cut trees are so perfect for turkey nesting.
Absolutely.
They are. They sit there and they put that nest right down underneath there, and when you got a bunch of that clutter in the woods, it's so much harder for those predators to find those turkeys, and those predators can do such a number on those nests.
Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth.
Remember, when we're talking turkeys, it's not much different than whitetails. You need cover for them to raise their poults. You need food for their survival. A 90%, no more than 90% wooded for ideal turkey habitat. You need diversity. And as our good buddy Robbie schooled us on, trophy clover, game changer clover, fall, winter, spring, cereal rye are outstanding plantings for turkeys.